Go.
I need to turn this off. I want to. The tool doesn't need to be in the background notices. No, you know what I didn't do? You can start talking, but I want to get the mic set up. I need to do that.
Oh, not to hear me.
It's like a hurry up and wait situation.
Low red light, funky.
Yeah. It's a feature. Helping. It's basically telling me it's out of memory, but I'm not using the memory in there. I'm using
It starts blinking fast, then you gotta get nervous.
Actually, there's a subtle beep, which you guys have probably heard before, and that means it's kind of like at the end of the tape, back in the days when we had tape.
When you start hearing the Star Trek female voice, 10, 9, 8. If you're not running for the door, get the hell out of my way.
Out of here so fast.
Yeah, now in today's world, we have to worry about HAL 9000.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I can't do that.
I'm sorry. How sorry is it gonna be?
Sorry, I'm going to close the door. Feel free to, whatever you want this to be. This can be
Okay, how do you leave it open until they actually start?
This just goes with the camera. It's not for the room, that's the mic we use. But this is for camera. So then, like, you guys can, whenever go from A to D, or whatever you guys are doing.
We're live?
Yeah.
Are there any likes yet?
There's 15 people.
Oh, excellent.
Did you say 50?
15.
15.
Oh, where did you put the link for this?
We didn't know we were doing this until.
He didn't know until like 5 minutes ago.
But you told your people that.
Yeah.
It's all Cisco people looking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just waiting for the okay from camera 2. I can't see that.
You can't see what?
Oh, I don't know if you're giving me a thumbs up.
Oh, I'll do a jumping jack.
Well, your hand was completely behind the camera. I couldn't see it.
Okay, go with that. Burpee or nothing?
Yeah, right. We're horrible, man.
We all go over that shit now.
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do? Alright. Do something else. Okay. Say something like
Hello. Testing. 1, 2. Hello.
okay.
Always a little bit of work in progress.
We are ready.
All right. Okay, so good evening and welcome to the April 2025 meeting of BayLISA, the Bay Area Large Installation Systems Administration User Group. My name is Mark Rovner and I'm the current president of BayLISA. And here today we also have fellow BayLISA board members Kai Purcell, Ron Pagani, and our Cisco representative Adrian. BayLISA is held the third Thursday of every month and its meetings are open to the public. We are a membership organization, so we encourage people to join, but it's not required. Membership enables us to pay for various organizational expenses like meetup.com fees, refreshments, and such, so that we continue to bring you the best speakers to present interesting and relevant topics. If you or your organization would like to become a member, please speak with myself or one of the board members, or after the presentation online. BayLISA would like to thank Cisco and Adrian for supporting BayLISA by arranging for us to be in this space. Without corporate sponsorship, this would be a much harder event to pull off. Please be respectful of facilities and remember to clean up after yourselves before you leave. Unfortunately, we don't have Wi-Fi in this place, so hopefully we won't die before that. BayLISA is a volunteer organization, and the board itself is always looking for new members. If you enjoy these talks, we encourage you to give back to the community and help. It's not hard work, but many hands still make the lift easier. The board meets the first Tuesday of the month to make plans for a general meeting, discuss topics, speakers, and generally try to make BayLISA better. Above all else, though, finding speakers is the most important task for the board. So even if you don't have time to volunteer, we always are interested to know what you would like to hear from in future events. Maybe you have a subject you'd like to hear more about, or maybe there's a specific speaker you'd be interested to hear from. Maybe you yourself have a subject you'd like to talk about that you feel would be interesting, like our speakers this month volunteered. If any of this interests you, again, please find myself, one of the board members, and speak to us. We typically reserve some time at the beginning for announcements, so to start us off, are there any BayLISA board members with announcements? Guy or? No? Nothing from Cisco this month?
No.
We typically reserve a little bit of time for job announcements, so if you're looking for a job or your organization has positions that they're looking to fill, you can talk about. Oh, hey.
Yeah, my name is Adam. I worked at Autodesk for the last 13 years, and I got caught in a big layoff. I think there's a lot of layoffs, thousands of people in the Bay Area right now that are looking for work, and I'm one of them, and I'm looking forward to my next, I do reliability engineering, DevOps automation, and so even if you just want to talk about Amazon Web Services, I do infrastructure work, so. Thanks.
Our usual announcer at this is no longer working, so he has no position to talk about.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on inside LinkedIn anymore.
I myself work at Apple, a group that manages the services that run back-end of Siri. It's an SRE, DevOps kind of job. We're not actively hiring right now, but they will hire exceptional candidates when they come across. So if you're, I think I found one, yeah, so if anyone else is interested, please feel free to ping me. Talk about it. We like to keep you informed of upcoming interesting tech events going around the Bay Area and wider. So unfortunately, we missed a really bunch of cool events in the past month. There was a Unix SRECon right in our backyard here, NVIDIA's GTC, Scale, KubeCon in the EU. But there's more coming. We seem to be back into a full swing of stuff happening. Tech Expo North America 2025 will be held June 4th to 5th right here again in our backyard, Santa Clara Convention Center. It's billed as 7 co-located events, including AI, big data, cybersecurity, and all famous buzzwords, where you discover groundbreaking technologies, connect industry leaders, and equip your team to thrive in the digital era. There's a free ticket, which is just for the expo and a couple of expo tracks. The actual interesting stuff costs money, but you should be able to get your vendors to either give you discount tickets or hit your manager up for a pass. ClickHouse, an upcoming observability tool similar to Grafana in ways, is having a free tech event up in San Francisco on May 28th and 29th. The event is still a work in progress, so their schedule is a bit light, but it's to be held up at the Pearl in San Francisco, which is an interesting location. There will be introductions with the founders, showcases of their product and use cases, tech sessions, and Ask Me Anythings. And that's free. I have QR codes for all these events on the back wall there, so if you're interested, make sure to scan one on the way out. While Unix Enigma Conference, their security conference is no more, this year's 34th Unix Security Symposium will start an Enigma at Unix Security track. That will be held August 13th to 15th, will be held in Seattle, so a bit outside our area, but Seattle's a nice time of year. The Security Symposium brings together researchers, practitioners, system programmers, and others interested in the latest advances in security and privacy of security systems, which nobody here is interested in. I believe early bird tickets are still on sale, but again, if your security vendors might have a discount for you. Outside of immediate work needs, Maker Faire Bay Area returns this year again in September. Billed as the world's largest show and tell, the fair combines DIY worlds of science, tech, music, arts and crafts, food, and much more, with a weekend of what's billed as the world's largest show and tell. To be held again at Mare Island Naval Shipyard in Vallejo. Again, early bird pricing for tickets are on sale now, as well as 3-day all access VIP tickets, which are a lot more expensive. But it's like $60. I've been telling people, I've been taking my daughter since she was like 6 months old, and they can't get enough of that thing. As much as we ourselves might be interested, I would also heavily suggest if you have kids, nieces, nephews floating around that don't have anything to do that weekend, take them. It's the thing that's missing in schools. The schools will teach you, like, how things work and how to solve a test, but they won't show you what it's actually useful for in the real world. And this is the stuff that will tell them, this is what you're learning this stuff for. This is how you can do cool and fun stuff with it. My daughters, after every year, were like, Daddy, how can we do this? And I was like, well, you need to study that math and keep up on your science skills, and this stuff become easy to do. It is this eye-opening event for kids. I brought my daughter's friends with it too, and it's something you really should think about going, not just for yourself, but get any kids you might know going. Does anybody else know of any interesting, cool events going on in near time, Mr.
Open source.
Open source? So
What's
tell us
happening
about
at
that.
the San Mateo Convention Center, and it's billed as a technology creators / STEM type event. Yeah, so that's happening in July. I think it's July 18th through the 20th. And tickets are being sold. I don't remember what they cost, but open source. I think it's opensauce.com even.
A maker adjacent kind of event. But I haven't been to this one, but it's also another really cool event. They have a lot of cool video bloggers and tech people on there, and another fun event to attend. I know we don't want to get too political, but I'm just going to make a quick announcement that this weekend, again, there are going to be 50-51 protests in support of the fellow who's been deported to El Salvador, and I suggest you join them if you feel strongly about this. And you can come and talk to me about that afterwards if you're interested to hear more about it. Okay, so before we get started, ask you to check your phones, make sure they're on silent or vibrate, as many of them are part of on-call rotations, and we understand if you get paged, but please, if you have to take a call, minimize the disruption and take a step outside. Okay, so Oracle is a database that really needs no introduction. If your tech career passed through the late 80s, the 90s, the early aughts, you almost certainly worked with it. I was personally at arguably the first free software company, and even we had a small Oracle database, although its wife and I can't remember what we used it for a long time ago. While there are more database solutions to choose now more than ever, both commercial, free, relational, SQL, non-SQL, Oracle still does some things that no one else does quite as well, and so companies continue to use and pay for Oracle. Not to sit on their laurels, Oracle continues to adapt with the times, and today Oracle can leverage the open and now well-worn JSON data format. And tonight we have two Oracle engineers to show us how we might leverage these changes with their talk, Converged Database, JSON meets Relational for the Modern Era.
Cool.
Was working in rehearsal.
Well, I introduced the recorder thing, so that's coming up the works. You broke it. No, I didn't. Sorry. Oh, wait, there it is. But isn't it prompts to share? Advise.
Same from the.
Okay, that's what it
Did you try unplugging it, plugging it back in?
Oh, there we go.
is. Apple's very insecure. You're not allowed to share unless you explicitly say shares.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Hi everyone, this is Madhu. I currently work as a software developer for Oracle's database development group. I've been here for about 5.5 years. And within that, I work for the document storage team, wherein we deal with the storage of XML, JSON, and text within Oracle database. And this is Tianhong.
Hi, my name is Tianhong, and I've been at work for less than 1 year, and haven't so many bugs yet, but I'm working in XML related bugs.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the convergence of JSON and relational. There's the common notion that JSON and relational are two different worlds, and we're here to kind of defy it and make a case that it may not be the case that both JSON storage and relational necessarily have to be two different worlds. We're going to show how Oracle integrates the two worlds, but it doesn't necessarily have to be specific to Oracle, and you can go and implement it yourself or leverage multiple other solutions. So yeah, I'm going to talk about how JSON is stored within Oracle database and some of the cool features that are there. Yeah, and please feel free to interrupt for questions. Okay, so why do we really need JSON? I guess JSON is widespread at this point in time, and it's been like that for a couple of decades. When application programmers want to interact with the underlying data store, they find it hard to interact with the schema of the database, and they prefer a free-form template, which is why JSON is useful. It's schema flexible in the sense that it does not need to conform to a particular template. It supports nested joins, different kinds of object structures. You don't need to join across multiple tables when you use JSON. You just have it as a single template. And also, it doesn't necessarily need SQL. You can access JSON objects via dot notation. Many people do not want to write complex SQL queries where they're joining across multiple tables with multiple where clauses and then select conditions, which is why they find it more intuitive to use JSON. Yeah, I guess there's no argument on why JSON is really needed. I guess it is needed at this point. And as you can see, many of you might have worked with these databases. They're special databases for a particular use case. You have MongoDB, Cosmos, Google File Store, and there are hundreds of different database providers out there. And each of them market themselves for a particular use case. And they also perform pretty well for that particular use case. So the challenge with this might be that an organization might have to maintain multiple different databases with multiple security models, and you need a different skill set to run each database, a different set of engineers. And you might often see that there is overlap between different databases and then a lot of duplication. It's also hard to view them as an integral solution, which is end-to-end for the organization. A lot of them may not be entirely ACID compliant, which is okay for most use cases, but some use cases might really want ACID compliance, which means it's strictly transactional. And if you want to apply analytics across multiple databases, each one will probably have its own method of and ways to do so. So that might be hard. And you have to again write custom application code and custom integrations to interact with a particular database. So yeah, we think these are the challenges with special document databases. But having said that, we don't want to entirely rule it out. And if you still feel that you might need a particular database for a specialized solution, then go ahead and use it. I guess it depends on the use case. And yeah, this slide shows the contrast between a converged database and a single database, which is what I spoke about. Like you can have a special database for spatial data, a separate database for vector storage, a different database for JSON storage, and each of them might interact with one another with its own security models and then own release schedules, etc., etc. Instead, what we recommend is a single database for all your needs. I guess the other side, it's also called polyglot persistence, where you have the emergence of different databases for different needs. But yeah, again, what we're recommending is the opposite, where you have a converged database with a single security model, a single upgrade schedule, a single set of engineers working on it, and simpler integrations. This one roughly shows the emergence of database needs. As we know, it started in the 1960s and 70s when relational database originated. And then there was the emergence of object stores, wherein it was more like Java classes, and you had database objects to store sort of real-world objects. And then in the early 2000s came the emergence of XML. And XML is still widely used, and we see a lot of customers still using XML, especially financial institutions, because their financial data conforms to predefined templates, and they still prefer to use that. Yeah.
Vector database missing.
Yeah, I guess vector to need to update it. Thank you. Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Vector database is missing. Yeah.
Yeah, the new LLM vector databases.
Yeah.
DB.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and in the early 2010s, there was JSON, and now, as he mentioned, vector, and we've tried hard to integrate the JSON and relational words using something called JSON-relational duality, which we'll talk about shortly. And you can also see a plethora of other database providers, each specializing in a certain use case. And they do perform pretty well as well for that use case. So you continue to see an emergence of newer database providers, and I guess the database field never dies, and it has continued to see a lot of research and development. Okay, this is like a high-level overview of the JSON features in Oracle database. The latest version was released last year. It's called Oracle Database 23 AI. Why is it called AI? Because of its vector support, which we released last year. So you can store vectors directly in Oracle database, and it comes with a lot of features like similarity search, etc., and many other extensions for document embeddings and search, etc. These are some of the JSON features. We'll be diving deeper into JSON relational dualities and then enhanced indexing mechanisms. Then there's something really cool called the Oracle Database API for MongoDB, which we'll also talk about. And then property graphs, vector storage within JSON. So you have like a JSON document. You can also store vectors within the document. Many customers find that more intuitive if they're already comfortable working with JSON data. And different kinds of indexing mechanisms. Yeah, so this is a high-level overview. Before 23 and AI, 19C was a long-term release for Oracle database. And that was released a couple of years ago. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the interoperability between SQL and JSON. So many people think that to interact with JSON, you can't really use SQL, but we've supported that using a SQL JSON standard, which was created by Oracle and it's publicly available. It's like, I think, a 3,000-page book with a published standard on how you can interact and map types between SQL and JSON. So all the JSON support that we have revolves around JSON, native JSON column type. So I create a table movies with a data column, which is of JSON type. And all the features revolve around this optimized JSON type that we have. To insert, you directly insert into it, just like how you would insert relational content into a relational table. And to select data, you can use the dot notation, which is again more intuitive to application developers.
Internally, internally does it uses blog or it's just
It's called OSIN actually, which is a binary format which is optimized. So it's kind of a blog, but it's called OSIN. MongoDB has something called BSIN. It's similar to that, and we think this is more optimal.
Repeat the question.
So he asked if it's internally stored as a blog or something, and so it's stored as something called OSIN, which is a binary format that was developed by Oracle.
So does it rhyme with awesome?
Sure.
So the JSON document that you have
Mhm.
in there, that supports lists as well? I mean, you showed just key value pairs.
Yeah, it supports arrays.
Right, exactly, okay.
Yeah,
And so that's all,
yeah, arrays.
there are ways to like do operations on the arrays.
Yeah,
Just like you would if you embed an
Yeah.
array type column or something?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of faster because if I have an array, then it internally also creates something like a dictionary. So I don't really have to traverse the entire array. I can go to
of
the
course.
index immediately. If you serialize and deserialize JSON, that's kind of a drawback because you have to traverse the entire path. But
Mhm.
this one is more optimized, is what we think.
so that's what no text parsing or serialization.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this was a very large scale project, and I myself don't know the internal details of the implementation.
How
It ran across for many years.
many years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, this was like storing JSON, and you can also generate JSON from relational using JSON operators. There are like hundreds of different operators we have for different use cases. So you can see JSON aggregation. It's basically aggregating data from relational tables. And then JSON unnesting, where you can unravel across JSON parts and traverse the tree structure.
So there is a JSON.find kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. There are different operators for
With the
like
same
JSON
Oracle.
value, JSON query. Yeah. You can find by the key or by an expression. It's called query by example. Or by text or different parameters. And as we looked at it, looked at this before, it's called OSIN, an optimized binary format. We think that it's faster based on performance experiments compared to BSIN and other comparable JSON providers. And it does not need parsing or serialization. If you're interested, you could look into it in more detail. I'm going to quickly talk about some of the marquee JSON features that are there. The first one is JSON collections. So it's a very MongoDB term wherein they have what you call as a collection, which is basically a set of JSON documents. It's similar to a table, but it's just for JSON. So I don't have any other column in it. I just have JSON data. So I create a JSON collection table called movies, and I can directly insert JSON data into it. So this essentially behaves like a column store database only meant for JSON. And I have like an underscore ID field which uniquely identifies the document. In case I don't provide the underscore ID field, then it's auto-generated using a UID algorithm.
Okay, so is that similar to like if you were to stuff an XML blob into, is it the same concept?
Yeah, similar. But like the table only has a blob column that's purely for that. The reason why this is better is because the table will inherently come with certain properties like partitioning, replication, sharding, etc. And those features are uniquely handle JSON in a certain way. So it might be nicer to just use this if you only want JSON storage.
So the collection syntax is to comply with the MongoDB.
Similar, not to comply as such, but it's similar.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The
The
collection syntax.
recording there can't hear
Sorry,
any audience stuff.
Yeah, he asked if the collection syntax is similar to MongoDB, and yes, it's similar. And there are different APIs that support access to JSON. There's something called Simple Oracle Document API, which is available in C, PS, SQL, Java, JavaScript, Python, etc. And that's pretty much JSON collections for you. Another interesting feature is this feature called the Oracle API for MongoDB. So if you're an existing MongoDB customer and you want to switch from MongoDB to Oracle, but your application code is heavily written on MongoDB, then you can use something called the Oracle API. So this is like a wrapper which we provided. All your gets inputs to MongoDB will just go to Oracle database instead. And we released this a couple of years ago, and we got a lot of customers move to Oracle database because the rest of their organization was already using Oracle database, and also for performance reasons. And the third reason being that Oracle is asset compliant, and many of these firms wanted pure transaction properties, which is why they moved. And this is available in, I guess, Java, and then in Mongo Shell, and then Python as well. So, then you can also index JSON data. You can index single fields. It's called a single value index. Then you can index multiple fields. It's called a multi-value index. And then we also support full text search over JSON data with text index. So you can index data in different ways to speed up performance. And a lot of interesting projects in each of these different areas. The single value index essentially uses B-tree indexes over scalar values. And for text search, there are inverted index to look for text within JSON values. And then there's support for JSON in external tables. So if you have an external file with JSON data, then you can store it directly into Oracle database using this external table feature that you have. And you can also customize it. For example, if you want to delimit your JSON file data in a certain way, then you can do. Maybe you have an external file with JSON in over multiple lines that are separated with a certain delimiter, then you can specify that. Or if it's within an array, then you can you can open the array. Things like that. So this is basically to load data from external files or external object stores as well into your Oracle database. So this was the marquee feature of Oracle database in 23i. It's something called JSON-relational duality views, which is a pretty cool feature. So I have multiple relational databases, relational tables, for example, teachers, courses, students, etc., which is what most organizations have. And if you want to read a JSON-only view on top of the relational tables, then we provide something called the JSON-relational duality views, which basically does like a custom join based on the parameters that you specify, and it creates a JSON view on top of your relational tables. So for example, over these 4 tables, I create a JSON relational duality view, and it basically creates like a JSON on top of your relational table. The cool thing is that you can continue to read from the relational table, and you can continue to read from the JSON document. At the same time, you can update the relational table, and you can also update the JSON documents. So this kind of bridges the JSON and relational worlds, which were always thought to be separate. But
Okay, so this is a materialized view with automatic translation to and from the JSON from an underlying, possibly multi-table join.
Exactly.
Just like a view in every other regard, except with the little adapter.
Yeah, it's not materialized. It's just a view. Yeah.
A dynamic view.
Yes.
So when you say view, it's not persistent, right? So it's a query. When you query, that's when it gets the.
Yeah, it's dynamic.
Yeah, but yeah, it's also replicated, and it's pretty cool how they did it. Yeah.
And you can put indexes on that view as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So you gotta go ahead.
And you can have value functions in there too?
That I'm not sure. I need to check that. Yeah, I don't think so.
So what if I make a query and I just want the result as a JSON?
Yeah, you can just query the JSON duality view. You don't have to query the table.
So you have to query a view.
Yeah.
And you have to create the view first.
Yeah.
Instead, what if I just want to directly query the data table?
Yeah, you can do that.
And then get the result as a JSON.
Yeah, that's why you're creating a view.
So my question is, if I don't want to create the
view, you can continue to query the underlying table.
Query and then get the result as JSON. Is it possible?
Yes, it's possible.
How?
You can use a JSON wrapper function on top of the data.
I think so.
Their version of SQL has a function that can display as JSON.
Yeah.
Like a string, it'd be like a string conversion.
As XML, as
yeah.
Kind of thing.
But this is kind of nice if you know what kind of JSON template you have ahead of time. Then maybe you have a website which is displaying from a JSON. Then I might just create a duality view so that it's easy for me to maintain the view than go to the DBA for the underlying tables.
How do I get the relations? It's inside nested view. Is that how I get the?
Yeah, like that. And yeah, in order to access the view, you can query from the view directly using dot notation. And you also have a find operator which can query from the JSON duality view. And you can also update it in either places. It's just like a convenience mechanism wherein you don't really have to interact with the underlying tables.
For all these conversions back and forth, is there a performance hit? How much slower or faster?
We think it's pretty good performance-wise.
I mean, compared to the actual SQL, if I had the same table, to the SQL.
Yeah, if you hit the table directly, then it might be faster because you're
How
going to
much?
one table. This one is joining across multiple tables, but I guess there is also a mechanism to cache it, so it might be faster in that sense.
So in this case, the database is probably going to enforce the view model because, right? Like if you try to add another key in the JSON,
Yeah,
what's it gonna
might
do?
take time to rebuild the whole thing.
but like if
Yeah, you
If
try
the
and
view-
insert into, if you create a JSON with an extra tag, when the underlying adapter tries to then do an insert on some, won't have a table to go in or it
Yeah.
won't have a column for it to go into.
Yeah,
And
you
yeah,
need to
then-
update the duality view
I think it
first.
would just treat it just like you had any other unnamed column or invalid
Mhm.
SQL trying to do an update or an insert.
Yeah, if you want to add a key, then you can update the duality view and then
Does the JSON maintain schema, or it works as a document store?
we also have a mechanism to have JSON schema.
Yeah,
That's a separate feature.
yeah, you can
That's there.
enforce that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a whole JSON schema standard as to what type means what. And that's a huge thing. Yeah, I guess this was a huge effort, and I guess the replication team, those guys are working the most on it because it's pretty different. Yeah, and the last feature I wanted to talk to before giving it to Tianhong is this hybrid vector search. So in Oracle Database 23 AI, vector support was introduced. And you can also store vectors within JSON data. And hybrid search is one of the most popular use cases that customers are asking these days. They want to search for text within JSON documents, and they also want to search for vectors within JSON documents. And they want to do a union on both to find the best possible search for a particular query or particular keyword. So hybrid search is something we provide where you create a hybrid index on a particular JSON table and you specify the vector parameters. You specify the path within the JSON document which will hold a vector, and again you specify text parameters as in what path you want to do a full text search on. And to combine both results, you can also specify multiple parameters. For example, intersect them, union them, etc. And yeah, this does hybrid search on JSON. Yeah, pretty much that. Any questions?
what would be the use case on that? Is it for looking at relationships, like for tokens?
Yeah, for example, if I want to search for Star Wars within a JSON document, then I could do text search for sure, but also say a particular OpenAI model is giving me embeddings for Star Wars. Suppose it's giving me a vector and my document also has a vector, then I want to see how similar the two are. Maybe I have Game of Thrones in my document and Star Wars is my query. Not only do I want to search for Star Wars within my document, I also want to see how similar Star Wars is to Game of Thrones, and people are interested in the intersection of the two. That's a pretty cool feature. Okay. Yeah.
And you return both with a hybrid one query brings both.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thanks, Madhu, for introducing the new features and also the specialized database trends. And now we're going to see now we're going to see the relational JSON duality views in action. So on the left side is my script, and on the right side is SQL developer. So we will start from the simple things. First, to see the duality view, we need to have some relational tables underneath. So we will create the relational tables first. There are 4 tables for today. We're going to create attendee, speaker, sessions, and schedule. So you can see that after, okay. Sorry, let me log in this. Alright, let me run the script again. Yeah, so after input the queries for here, we can see that the tables has been created. And then we want to insert some of the data inside the tables. So we will have 2 happy attendees and 2 speakers for today. And also for the schedule, we want to insert the data for the schedule. And after commit, you can see that it's complete. So now, next, we're going to see the more exciting part. After create the relational tables, we can create the duality views. We start with the simple ones. So the attendee view matches one relational table underneath, and so as the speaker view, right? The syntax is create or replace JSON duality view speaker as the speaker table. And here you can put on notations to specify the privilege. For this speaker view, we wanted to be able to update, insert, and delete. And the last view we're going to create is going to based on multiple tables. The schedule view based on attendees, and for the attendees, what kind of schedules for these attendees have, and inside schedules, which sessions for each schedule, and for each session, we'll see the speaker nested inside. So let's create the these 3 views. So we'll create the last 2 first, and then we create the attendee view. Okay. So okay, it's created, and we will see next how do we work with duality views. And first we start with what will the data look different from the relational table and duality view. So for this simple example, if we select from the relational table, then we're looking at the columns, which is ID, name, and extras. And you can see that here is the data we inserted. But if we're going to see from see that the data is represented as one column, which is the data column, and data column has a JSON type, and here are the fields for the JSON table. And as we see that the view is based on the relational tables, but we can insert the data on top of the attendee view, as we show here. If we insert attendee values and we select from the underneath attendee table, we should see that it will show the attendee that we just inserted, which is Herman. I don't think we have a attendee called Herman today, but yeah, that just shows the example. And then next, we're going to see how the duality views came across different tables. So remember the table schedule that spawns for the view schedule V that is made up from 4 tables. So here you can see that attendee has different schedules, and then from different schedule there are different sessions, and for each session there is a speaker. So this is how they nested and became one JSON data. And you can also use the simple dot notation to just see the data in the view. Here we want to see what's the name and the schedule for this view, and we can see that as here. And unfortunately, there's a typo in one of the speaker's name. As you can see, Madhu is not Madhu, it's Madhu Huhu. And so we want to update. And can we update that? We should be, because when we create the speaker view, we say that we want the update privilege to be held by the view. So we run the script and see that this is the wrong name for this specific role, but we can update. So the syntax is update set vir. So in the data document, we specify that the name is Madhu. So now after commit, this underneath relational table should always be should also be updated. So we run the select query again to check that. Now you see that from the duality view, the name and the underneath relational table is updated. And the speaker is updated correctly, but what about the schedules of the employee? If we query the schedule view, which contains the speaker table, does that view get updated too? We should see that. So we select schedule views name and schedules, and you can see that is also updated from the schedule view. Oh, sorry.
Is that Madhu?
Yeah, it's not the same Madhu though, but another feature that's nice to have is the fine-grained control. Did we allow rating update in speaker view? We can check. So when we created the speaker view, and when we say that the rating file is from the rating column, we specify that we don't want to allow update from the speaker view side. So when we update speaker view and with the new ratings, we received an expected error which say that you cannot update the field because you say that it's not allowed. And it's just nice to have. And another good thing that comes with the flexibility is that you don't have to know all the attributes and structures of your documents, and you can just create a field on the fly. For example, when we say attendee view, we say ID, we say name, we create a column called extra, but we didn't have a column called last name. What if we just put that field in the document, in the data field? And what will happen if we have that extra field created? Okay, Now you can see that a row is updated. But we also want to know what will the wheel what does the wheel look like when we update with an unknown previously unknown field in the document. So we select the row that we just updated, and you see that this field is added into the view, even when we didn't specify it in the underneath relational tables. But what will the relational table look like after we add a non-existing column or a non-existing field? You can see that actually this new field last name will just be a flex column in the underneath table, so last name still gets added. And another feature is that you can generate column from the duality view. Say that you want to know the total number of sessions that the speaker is signed up for. While you create or replace this duality view, you can specify as generated. So this will just shows the size of the sessions for the speakers, and then you will know how many sessions that this speaker will have. And we can select from the speaker view. And we should be able to see that it's generated the based on the numbers. So number of sessions is here in the document.
Sure.
Yeah. And next, we're going to clean up the tables and show you how we can use Mongo API to work with Oracle's database. So let's just clean up first. And I have already connected from the MongoDB side. Oh, where's that? Yeah. So you can see that. Oh, you can see that is here. And initially, we don't have any collections in our Oracle database because we haven't inserted any collections yet. And as Madhu has introduced, a collection is just many JSON documents together. It's like a table, but it's not. And since it has already been connected to Oracle's database, we can just create a collection from Mongo Shell. So this is Mongo Shell. And the collection we're going to create is called employee. And after creating the collections, we're going to insert some data in the collections. And we're also going to verify that those data has been created on the Mongo side. So you can see that, sorry if this is going too fast.
Did you show which database you are creating this collection? The system? Where are you adding the collection?
Oh, so the
Show
audience.
DBs, do the show DBs.
Yeah. So the audience is asking where did I add the collections? I'm adding the collections from Mongo Shell, but this Mongo Shell has already been connected to Oracle.
No. You need to add a collection into your database.
Yes.
MongoDB database. So which database do you?
This is from Mongo Shell. The data is in Oracle's database. So
EMP is the database.
You got it? You read it?
EMP, employee.
Oh, there you go.
So the audience is asking what is the name of the collection that I'm adding?
DB.
Oh, yeah.
Name of the DB, not the collection. Collection is the whatever we read. I couldn't read it, but the DB
It's just
dot
DB.
collection.
Yeah.
DB
Great
is an object.
Yeah. So no. It goes inside one DB. So that should be your DB.
Yes.
MongoDB or something. There should be a DB.
Okay.
4 DBs will be automatically created.
Yes, yes.
So you could find out which DB you are in right now, current DB. Just I don't even know the syntax, but
Are you asking what collection, where the collection, which database the collection's stored in?
yes,
Mhm.
yes, you got it.
That's the question. Which database is the collection stored in?
Oh, okay.
I think it is show DB.
There's a syntax for that, but don't worry, it's not a big deal. We will figure it
Yeah,
out. later.
yeah. So we didn't specify the database in this case. The database is just the default object used to create the
That goes in
collection.
the system, right?
So yeah, as we said,
temp DB, I think it goes by default. It takes temp DB.
yeah, and after we inserted the data, we want to see that we actually can see those from Oracle's database. So actions, and from the SQL developer, you can see that this just got updated because we add this employee collections from Mongo shell. So those are the newly added data that we just created, and now they're here on Oracle side, and we can query the collections like using a simple JSON document, and I'm sorry, this is getting too small. And when you run this, you can see that these are the two documents that has programmer as the job. And we can also add another collection from Oracle side using SQL Developer. So this is new, and then the new document we're going to create has a name Zhang, and he is a manager. And after we create it, we can use the SQL to show that it's indeed in that employee table, and we can also use the SQL JSON standard to see like what's in that table, and we can also use MongoDB to find that new employee that we created. For example, if I do this with the name John's, we can see that it's here. This is being created on Oracle's SQL Developer, but you can query it from Mongo shell. And that's my demo. Thank you. Any questions?
So I was expecting, are you going to show the key features of a relational database in document store, like collection table? I guess that you are supporting triggers and constraints. Do you?
So the question.
Madhu can answer.
Yeah, Madhu. I don't think so as of now. We can check that. Yeah.
There should be triggers at least. And another question was, I was expecting that transaction that we were talking about.
Yeah, everything is transactional, what we see.
Can you show a demo? I mean, the syntax, do you have anything?
In the sense when she inserts into the Mongo shell, it is committed immediately without any commit. It is transactional.
So, is that the regular RDBMS
Yes.
transactions?
Yes.
Does that have any versioning or rollback?
Yeah, transactions do, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and the object ID, for that I guess we use optimistic concurrency control. So if two records are trying to update the same object ID, then one of them will succeed based on optimistic concurrency control.
Nice. She was a little fast, I couldn't follow.
Oh, sorry, I should
No
go
worries.
slow. Which part do you want to see that you're missing?
No, that's good. I got it. She answered it.
Can you just type show, that's okay.
Yeah.
In the command prompt, I just want to say show DBs. Just type show and then DBs, yeah. So it is,
Admin Apex, maybe. Apex public out of now. Admin is always there.
That was
There should be
unexpected.
temp should be there.
I thought it was gonna just say DB.
No, there should be a temp, TMP should be there. She may not have that permission to see some of it.
Okay, well, I hope you all learned how to use JSON in your Oracle databases. And there's a free version of 23A, right? Free version, so you should download and try it out yourself later. Thank you. Thank our speakers for the really great talk, and thank all you people for showing up. And there's some more pizza to eat, so feel free to have some. And we'll see you here all next month, hopefully.
Thank you.